Welcome to M Squared TechCast, a live interview show offering the latest news and interviews with the people driving business, technology, and politics in Michigan.
Part of the piece of the pie is really delighting. So you have LED lights, and you also have ceramic metal halides, and then your conventional lights that are hypersodium and also metal halides.
And even different colors, like sometimes you use a white light, sometimes you use a yellow light when they're a little farther along, right? You know?
Right, so a metal halide is actually more white or bluish white, where hypersodium is more yellow. So the color spectrums are totally opposite, but it's all relative to the grow as well. So in your grow process, you're typically going to use more of the blues in your veg stage, and then progressing to high pressure sodium or a yellow light in your flowering stage.
Okay.
Got it. So you've been doing this for many years, right?
About 17 years.
Wow.
Wow.
In the LED business.
And the LED business.
Yes.
So the cannabis part is a newer part of the business?
So we started about 5 years ago in the horticulture and agricultural side of the business, and that's when we saw the need for power generation as well. And then ultimately it was an easy transition to progress into the cannabis industry about 3 years ago.
Got it. And so power generation, talk about solar versus natural gas?
So ultimately, solar is not that good here in Michigan. The costs are high, the paybacks are long, but definitely natural gas is the preferred way. We're seeing typically a 3 to 4 year payback for cannabis facilities and or anything else that's high power generation requirements.
Let's talk a little bit about sustainability. So the waste heat from the power plant and all that, what happens with that?
Exactly. So what we're doing is we've actually designed a solution where we're actually using an absorption chiller that's using the waste heat off of the power generation source. By using that, you're getting now essentially free heating and cooling as well as free dehumidification. But in addition, we also are cleaning the exhaust and we're pumping the CO2 back into the building as well. So we're getting about 95% efficiency relative to what the grid is right now, which is probably closer to 40%.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. And then, so controls, like how do you track and manage how you grow? Is that something you guys do?
Yeah. So that's a big part of the energy efficiency as well, is being able to track and manage everything from the water to the lighting to the temperature, even what the temperature is in the room relative to where the plants are located.
And that makes a big difference?
Absolutely, because now you can track that and adjust it accordingly to be able to set it at the points that you'd like to maximize your grow.
Got it.
Plus, you've got data collection on that too, so you can consistently modify that, and those requirements or specifications may change based on the strain and any other variable that changes too.
Oh, interesting. And then the tracking element, I mean, you got to track it from seed all the way up through the whole process, right?
Yes. So we also can support RFID for every plant that goes from the seed and or if you're going to clone all the way to the sale. Absolutely.
Wow.
So, like, when in the process, like, there's vertical, there's stacked, there's horizontal grow. Like, is there a preference? Is there or just different?
It really is interesting you say that because everybody's used to growing horizontally. It's just one row. But if you can maximize your space, square footage, all the way to your ceiling, you could double, triple, or quadruple your overall volume. So if you're going stacked vertical, you'll have to go 6 feet between every stack to make sure you maximize the height, unless your plants are going to grow that much taller. Or if you grow true vertical, that's where the plants are actually growing sideways. So you can actually double your volume as a minimum just on pure weight relative to gross sales.
Wow, amazing.
That's interesting.
So training, that's a big issue. I know Anthony Sabatella, who we all know, that's his bailiwick is training. But what do you guys do in that area?
My background is automotive purchasing and operations. So I was in the automotive for 15 years. So relative to that, when we get into designing a system, if the customer is looking for us to help them in that area, we'll train them through the process of their whole manufacturing process. So we'll design their facility, make sure the rooms are in an order that is designed so you've got good flow of material, but we'll also come in and train the employees that these are going to be the steps that you need to take, and the plant manager is really the master grower, and that person needs to also change his thinking process, because going from a smaller typical grow in the medical industry, 12, 15, even 72, and now you're potentially going into thousands and thousands of plants. It's a different game altogether. So you have to think differently, and you have to make sure you have the right team underneath you to be able to support doing all the things that you would normally do yourself. So it's a really big change for a lot of the people.
And is cannabis is that a big part of the business now? I mean, for you guys?
Yeah, we've basically moved almost 95% of our business now is cannabis, and we've been doing trade shows throughout the United States and as well as in Canada, and working with customers in those areas as well.
What sort of brought you into the cannabis business? I mean, 17 years LED lighting, and then you're in cannabis. When did that happen, and how did that happen?
Well, when we got into the horticulture and agricultural side of the business 5 years ago, we saw that there was a lot of need for better systems and processes. We also saw that there was better ways of doing business, so we would then help support our customers in that area. And then 3 years ago, when we got into the cannabis side of the business, we realized that it's really the same process and flows that we're helping to support the horticulture and agriculture side of the business. So it was an easy transition, recognizing even that tomatoes has almost the same grow process as a cannabis plant.
Really?
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow.
Hours of usage.
So if you can grow a tomato, then you can grow some cannabis plants?
For the most part.
So that should start with tomatoes. If you get that down cold, then move on to pot, right?
That could be an ultimate way to figure it out, right?
It's like the kids doing t-ball, then graduating to...
I like it. I never would have thought of that. I got a buddy in West Michigan that grows both. So, I mean, but he's better at tomatoes, I think. So.
Yeah. But the key thing is learning how to grow inside, right?
That's tricky. And that's the new rule is to get a license now to get 120 plants or something, it's got to be an indoor facility, right?
I believe that's on the medical side of it.
Oh, that's the medical side?
Yeah.
Because we had a lawyer on a month ago was talking about that, and I was kind of questioning him about how do you set this whole thing up? How do you do it outdoors? And he goes, no, this one is really focused 10,000 square feet or something and you got it all on the inside. You're talking about a lot of money. You got to put up a building and all the other stuff that goes with, right?
Well, what's interesting about that is we actually have a customer on the west side of Michigan that came to us, and actually they're going to grow outside for commercial.
Yeah.
But the first stage in the veg, they're going to grow in a greenhouse.
Oh, sure.
We'll be providing for them as well.
Because the growing season's 6 months or so, maybe.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, and so you have that short little stream of time to be able to put your plants outside.
Right.
You might be able to get two cycles, depending on how you grow.
Some of these like industrial parks are refactoring to be like a cannabis place. Is it hard, like, for those places to do it? Do they need more power and stuff, or like how does that work?
Well, from that standpoint, we actually cut the umbilical cord with the energy company, and we put our own power plant, and you're basically on island mode, so you're not buying any power from the grid anymore. So it doesn't really matter. Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah, sounds like a win to me.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah,
but I've been doing this in the commercial industrial side of the business as well, right? So from that aspect, I'm working with automotive companies and other manufacturers that are high energy users. So it's the same process there as well.
Sure.
But there's more value add when you're going into the grow house, because now you're balancing the air and the temperatures and the humidification and as well as offering CO2 requirements.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay.
So the interesting part of that side of it, though, as well, is when you cut the tie with the umbilical cord with the grid, you still need energy, and that energy is going to be natural gas. But if you're not set up for that and don't have the volume, then we can go ahead and actually offer liquid natural gas temporarily until the energy company can actually come in and upgrade the system.
How are we doing on time, Dave? Got 2 minutes left.
All right.
So why don't we tell folks how they can get more information? I'm sure you got a website.
Sure.
If you're going to be, are you going to be attending his big show next week?
I just filled out an application to be considered for a speaker. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
At Cannabis.com. Hopefully you
Yep.
can make it. But yeah, like how do people order from you? I guess.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Well, everything we do is really by design, right? So you would contact us at either www.bratic.net, or you can reach me on my cell phone at 248-842-1480. We'll start some dialogue. We'll send out some contractual agreements. And then from there, we'll put out a list of all of our offerings. And then from that point, we can have a constructive conversation of next steps and what your interest level is.
I have one silly question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How long does like an average bulb last? If from these cannabis things, is it like 6 months? Is it they're on 24/7? I take it.
Yeah, most of the time they're 24/7.
How long do they last? Like an average bulb?
Well, an LED will last you about 50,000 hours, and a high-pressure sodium and metal halide will give you about a 10,000 hour life, and ceramic metal halide is going to be around the same. But the interesting part of it is when you're 5,000 hours into it, you've already lost 50% of your output, so the intensity is not there. With LED, is at 50,000 hours, you're on average going to be around 30,000 hours of loss, so you still have 70% of your intensity.
Got it. Okay. One more time, that website address is?
www.bratic.net. That's BRATIC.net.
And that's Stevan Bratic, who's the managing director of Bratic Enterprises, and you're based out of where?
Here in Royal Oak.
Royal Oak.
Additional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life. But LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.